Romania, one of the poorest countries in Europe, is facing a fierce power struggle ahead of parliamentary elections. For the past 12 months, the social liberals on the one side and the conservatives on the other have been accusing each other of corruption. The social liberal USL forms the cabinet, while the powerful but unpopular president belongs to the Conservative Party. The current administration took power without elections when a new coalition was formed in Parliament. Now the USL wants legitimacy from voters. I am in Sibiu, in central Romania. Here, too, the USL has every reason to hope for widespread support. The latest polls put them far ahead. Sibiu is located in Transylvania. 12 years ago, leftists were voted out of the city hall because of chaos and corruption. Now, this is one of the richest districts in the country. The chants aren't for the Social Democrats, but they feel confident of winning. After all, they came to power in the capital a year ago in coalition with the Liberals. The other major players, the Conservatives, don't want to talk to us. Florian Orlațan is a Social Democrat. The parliamentary candidate is enjoying his party's upswing, and he's critical of the city's independent mayor. He tells us that although it's not apparent, they also have political tensions in town. He thinks the people of Sibiu want to see fundamental change. Political life here simply must not continue the way it's been conducted over the past 8 years, he says. I'm surprised. After all, Sibiu is doing pretty well in comparison to the rest of the country. This is the Social Democrat Party headquarters. Orlațan shows us posters of their 3 candidates for parliament. And right next to that is the portrait of former Prime Minister Adrian Năstase. An odd mix. After all, Năstase has been in prison since last summer after being sentenced for corruption. And yet he remains a role model for the Social Democrats here. Here, nobody wants to talk about the dodgy dealings of the party leadership in the 1990s. Instead, supporters sing a song to cheer Florian Orlațan's campaign along. The lyrics say, "My dreams always connect me with this city on the tough road to democracy." The last time I was in Sibiu, 5 years ago, Romania had just joined the European Union. Sibiu was an example of why this country should be a member, despite much of it being economically underdeveloped. Romania needs fresh loans from the International Monetary Fund next year. It's not like Sibiu elsewhere in the country. Many in the city say that's mainly thanks to this man, Klaus Johannes, who recently won his 3rd successive term as mayor with 80% of the vote. Since 2000, he's been turning the local administration inside out. I ask him why Romanian politicians are so bitterly divided and why corrupt politicians can still be role models. He says, to a large part, Romanian politicians are still the product of the communist years. That's a huge difference to Western politicians who grew up in and were shaped by democratic systems. He tells us you can't expect that in those measly 22 years, coming from communism, a whole political class simply changes and becomes like politicians in Berlin, Paris, or Brussels.
Und so wird wie die Berliner Politiker oder wie die Pariser Politiker oder wie die Brüsseler Politiker.
Johannes sees himself as a moderate. He wants to mediate. And it seems to me that's why he's so popular. One of his staff shows me around Sibiu City Hall. One key to the town's success is the effective clampdown on corruption. Some say that's thanks to a simple new policy. The key positions in the building authority, for instance, are held almost solely by women. They are seen as less prone to corruption. Sibiu is currently building new sewage pipes on the outskirts of town. The €10 million project is subsidized by the EU. The construction workers say elsewhere in Romania, a lot of the money would simply disappear. But the companies here work by the book. Nobody's handed a job through connections. In Sibiu, it's the qualifications that count.
In Iași, all the people must have somebody who is high for be employed. And here in Sibiu, it's all right for me to work, for work.
Just like this?
Yeah.
How did you get the job?
My job is okay.
How did you get the job? Did you know somebody?
No. I come with my CV and find a job on my company, and they take me, and nobody speak for me.
When the camera is off, the workers tell me that in order to get a permanent position, you often also have to pay a bribe. I keep moving to find out what's so different about Sibiu compared to the rest of the country. One big advantage is the city's small airport, with flights to and from Austria and Germany. Opening up, one way of fighting corruption. Companies from across the EU have settled around the airport. By doing business here, they introduce international standards, another tool to tackle the mentality of corruption. Investors appreciate the support from local politicians and the fact that the administration sees itself as a management agency rather than a political player. This is also increasingly attracting Romanian companies. Codruța Popa works for a leather company. It produces straps and belts for the aviation industry. This year they've thought up something new. Now they use the leather leftovers to make handbags they designed themselves. Innovation, Romanian style. I ask her what she has to say about her country's backward image.
Should we let this bad image and the politics influence us in what we do? No. In order to have quality products, in order to change this image, we have to be very positive, we have to be optimistic and try to change it instead of letting that image influence in everything that we do. Okay.
The leather bags make their market debut at this year's Christmas market in Sibiu. It's the largest in the country, and visitors come from all across Romania. Here I meet Florin Olațan again, who's come to campaign for his Social Democrats. Election promises of a street campaign. He says they don't want to see that kind of poverty anymore in Romania. And looking at this Roma woman, he says they'll make sure this no longer exists if they manage to stay in power. He's hinting at the old conservative-led government which cut social spending, a move driven by the now unpopular conservative president, Traian Băsescu. When Băsescu's coalition partner decided to switch sides, the Social Democrats came to power. Since then, the country has been in political turmoil, and the political arguments may continue after Election Day. No surprise, then, that many are disappointed by their political class. Around 60% of voters regularly decide not to bother with casting their ballot. In Sibiu, many put their trust in the mayor, who doesn't belong to any party. He's an independent who also represents the tiny German minority. Many voted for him because they were frustrated with the established parties. He takes a pragmatic approach to the heated climate among Romania's politicians. He says whether you shoot with bullets or with words now, they're stuck with the ones they have. So, he says, he guesses it's best to take the ones they have and simply try to make the best of it. In the evening, the mayor launches a special treat for the people of Sibiu. New lights for the Christmas market. The mayor says sometimes they simply need something to reinforce their sense of belonging together, and he believes the lights they switched on today are part of that. The people of Sibiu didn't have this sense of belonging before 2000. It's grown since then. That took a long time, he says. And now that they have it, they should try their best to make it stay.
Aber ich denke, wenn wir es jetzt schon haben, dann sollen wir etwas tun, damit es bleibt.
In 2009, Klaus Johannes' name came into the political arena as the possible next Romanian prime minister, as a compromise candidate who could end the political fighting. He still seems like a man ready to step up to the job. It's well possible he could make this big political step to the top soon. That's if these parliamentary elections fail to bring political peace to Romania.